It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Welcome to the Women's Exclusive, a podcast where you will find the resources and fresh perspectives to take action and empower yourself to build a life you love in business and in motherhood. I am Laura Lee.
And I am Gabriella. We are two mompreneurs who love creating, scaling, and building our business while tackling the joys and craziness of motherhood. Join us in this journey in the Women's Exclusive.
We want to take a moment and thank the Divas That Care Network for hosting us.
We are grateful to be surrounded by strong businesswomen creating meaningful impact in the world.
Well, welcome to the Women's Exclusive. My name is Yaskar Gabriella.
I am Laura Lee, and I am with Inspired by Laura.
And we're so excited today because we have an amazing guest on the podcast, Miss Jordan Guilford from Gems for Gems. How's it going today? I'm so excited you're here.
Oh, so good. I am absolutely honored to be with you ladies today and so excited to get into it.
Nice.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you, as we just said. And just a little tiny bit about Jordan before we jump in. She's got a lot to say, and we have some questions for her, for all of you guys as well. But she's a small town girl who had a dream to make a difference and pursued it with all her heart. And I really love what you wrote there. And so we're really excited to hear from you and learn more about you. And as Yauska just said, she's with Gems for Gems. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Jordan. And we're going to talk about some things that are coming up with Gems for Gems and for Jordan. And to let you guys know about that, I just want to, before we start, I'm wearing my Gems for Gems swag today because
Beautiful.
Obviously anyone listening, you guys can't hear us or see us, or you hear us, you can't see us, but I am wearing my sweater and my Gems for Gems necklace, and actually we will be tagging and putting in the comments where you can buy and support Gems for Gems and get some swag right now, but we'll talk more about that later too. So Jordan, again, thank you for being here. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
My life has really been the inspiration for me beginning Gems for Gems. So I'll give it to you in a little nutshell. I was raised in Nova Scotia, and we had very little of everything. So food, hot water, heat were often luxuries for us when we were growing up. And I experienced different forms of abuse while I was growing up, but it was very hush-hush and swept under the rug, and I just really wanted to be able to do something that made a difference in as many women's lives as possible, and also making a difference feel like a doable option for everyone in the public. And something that has really opened my eyes is that most people who want to help will choose to do nothing as opposed to doing something because they have a perception that doing something small is meaningless, and it's just not. To me, if we had everyone doing something small, we would all live in a very, very different world. So Gems for Gems, yes. Are we working to be able to end the cycle of domestic abuse? Absolutely. Do we focus on economic recovery for survivors? Absolutely. But a big part of Gems as well is a movement that has happened, and it's happened because of the incredible people that have joined us, all on board to be able to contribute what they can, when they can, and how they can to be able to move the dial.
That's awesome. So how did you actually start Gems for Gems? Think back to where your aha moment. What was it like? What were you doing? And what prompted you to be like, I need to do something like right now?
It didn't happen like that. It was much more. The interesting thing with GEMS is that it's every level of it has been super organic and a very natural progression from one phase to the next, including its start. So, for instance, I moved here from Nova Scotia. Moved to Calgary from Nova Scotia 6 years ago, and I was at a dinner party and. With one of my friends actually from university who I hadn't seen in 10 years at that point. We randomly bumped into each other at the gym, so that was cool. But she invited me over to a Christmas dinner party with a lot of other ladies in her community, and they were all talking about the different initiatives that they're part of for children at Christmas time. And I was blown away because in Nova Scotia, we just don't have the resources for like 80% of it. So it was amazing to me. But I said to them, well, what about the women? And they just all looked at me like, I don't know. You know, like no one had an answer for me because the focus has still very much been on children, particularly at Christmas time. And I think that's exactly where the focus should be. But what I know from my upbringing is that if children have nothing, 99% of the time, the mothers have even less. So at that dinner party, I told them a story, and this story is what led to the birth, if you will, of Gems for Gems. So when I was 14 years old, I started recognizing that my mom's relationship with my dad was not what I had just grown up assuming it was. My dad, when I was 8, we moved from Toronto out to Nova Scotia, and he didn't come with us. The idea was that he would join us, but when I was 14, he still hadn't. He was not abusive at all, so that's not where my experience with abuse came. But at this time in my life, you know, we were going through puberty, noticing boys, and knowing kind of what you're looking for with boys. I realized that what I would be looking for is not something my mom had. And at that point, like I said, we had next to nothing. Often food was not available, heat, hot water, like I said. So my grandmother used to give us $20 each at Christmas time to be able to go purchase gifts at our local church bazaar for each other. And we would pick out toques and hats, or toques and mittens and scarves, and we got excited about what pattern we were going to pick, and we knew who made them, and so that side of the equation, although obviously it's super menial to a lot of people, it wasn't where we felt poverty at all. But this year I had noticed, like I said, that my mom didn't have those things that I was already starting to look for with boys, and just attention and affection and that type of thing. And so I asked my brother and sister if they would be willing to pool their $20 together with me to just get our mom something for Christmas. And instantly they were 100% on board. So we went to the store and we picked a little bracelet out, and it looked like little leaves woven together, but it had what we thought were diamonds, definitely plastic, but it was sparkly, and it was the most beautiful thing that we thought we'd ever seen, and we were so excited to give it to her on Christmas morning. But when she opened it, she just started bawling and left the room, and she left 3 mortified kids behind. We had no idea what we had done, no idea how to fix what we had done. And in a few minutes, she came out of the bathroom, and she had put on her best clothes, done her makeup, done her hair, and she just sat us down and told us that this little piece had reconnected her with being a woman. And just a little bracelet, but she had been what she explained to us was she was so stuck in life source mode for us that she had lost track of herself as an individual and as a woman. So I said that story at this dinner party, and everyone was like, wow, that's amazing. And I just hadn't thought about the other side of that equation. And so I just left there, and I decided to try to collect as many pieces of jewelry and make little packages and give them to women in shelters. And I specifically had a goal of 20 packages because that was the number of women at the closest shelter to me here in Calgary. And I had only 3 weeks to collect, and only one location was willing to collect for me. I asked several, but no one wanted the liability of having jewelry there. And anyway, Orange Theory and Seton decided to collect for me, which was the biggest leg up ever. And in 3 weeks, with a goal of 20 packages, we were able to collect enough for 436 packages.
Wow.
From one teeny, from there, from the studio instructors, from the participants, everybody just pitched in. And that was the start. It was a very organic start. And then as more people came on board, we started working in the shelters and because a lot of people wanted to be able to use what skills and talents they had to be able to contribute. So we created a program in the shelters where we had a fixed program, and our ambassadors then started helping out and helping us host and helping present. And then what I noticed in the shelter was that a lot of women were asking similar questions, and particularly around the self-defense component. And they were asking stuff like, what do I do when I'm cornered? What do I do when I've been hit first? What do I do when there's so much blood that I can't see properly? And these questions kept coming up. And I realized that most of these women were trying to be safer for when they went back.
Yeah.
So that is when I decided that we have to do something to be able to make remaining outside of an abusive relationship actually viable for these women. So that's when I came up with the scholarship program. And then I knew I couldn't volunteer my way to providing scholarships, so I got our charity status, and then just kind of rolled from there. That was a lot of talking. I'm sorry.
No, that's awesome. I'm definitely curious to know how Gems for Gems started. And I did, when I was talking to one of the ladies who brought me in to become an ambassador, did mention your Christmas story about that. And it was like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. And it touched my heart too, because it's true. Like, us women, we do so much for everybody else that we literally forget about each other, about ourselves. And just having that one little piece of recognition just brings us back to that, like, wow, I'm an actual person, you know? And then the fact that, like, the kids recognize that as well, and you guys wanted to give that to your mom. And so many women I could see, like, really, really appreciating that as well, even as a gift from a stranger, for sure.
Well, I mean, you just hit the nail on the head there too. I mean, we've now been able to do over 16,000 gifts across Canada. Mm-hmm. And every single piece has been donated from women like you, who've heard about Gems and are willing to go through their jewelry box. And what happens is that when a woman receives that, it goes with a little note saying that they're a gem no matter what, keep their head held high, and that this gift is being donated to them by the Women of Canada. And suddenly they matter, and they don't just matter in their own lives, they matter to the lives of Canadian women. And I love that. Yeah.
That's very powerful what you're doing. I'm sitting here actually crying.
Well, we are doing. You guys are part of it too.
Yeah. We are. Just for our listeners, Gabriella and I are both ambassadors for Gems for Gems, and it means a lot, I think, to both of us with the work that Gabriella does, and for me, with my own past, it means a lot to me too, to be able to give back to women and to help women in different ways. And I don't think you guys were around, or I definitely didn't hear about you in Edmonton when I was going through my stuff, but I definitely did tap into a lot of resources in Edmonton, and I'm so excited to be able to help and give back and provide resources to women that need it to be able to see the light and to be able to come out onto the other side, or to understand that they can. Because when you're in it, it's hard to see anything different sometimes.
Totally. Yeah. So something too that I think is difficult for a lot of women who are going through it is that when they reach out or when they look to see what's available, it's very easy to get inundated with this many lists of counselors, this many lists of shelters, and it's hard to be able to differentiate and find what's right for them. And to that, GEMS came into existence because there was a hole, and the hole was that women were going to shelters and so often returning to the abusive relationship afterwards. So that's the space that we work in is further down the road than shelters, further down the road than a lot of the people who are focused on domestic abuse. And the reason for that is that I believe in creating a bigger, brighter future, and I believe in every woman deserving exactly that. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to facilitate the opportunity and the hand up for people, which is a shift of focus within our sector, because the focus is 9 times out of 10 at the other end of the spectrum, which is directly post-abuse. And I'm a big believer in manifesting and positivity, and I really want GEMS always to be a big ray of light and hope and forward focus, because I believe that whatever you focus on now is what you're creating for your future. And I want that to be beautiful for all of these women. Empowered, beautiful, economically sound, and that's what GEMS is.
Yeah. And, on my side of things, for those listeners who don't know, is that I specialize in empowerment boudoir photography. A lot of the clients that we see that actually come into the studio have been through that abusive relationship and have actually come out of it now. And now they're building themselves, seeing who they are again, trying to create that life that they love. But I also know that there's a lot of women who have not yet booked a session or are just looking, who might still be in that abusive relationship, that they're just kind of seeing themselves trying to get away from it and then trying to find themselves again. So a lot of the information that we give, we want to be able to provide these women with also resources. And we're constantly saying, we are ambassadors of Gems for Gems. Gems for Gems help women get out of that situation, and trying to subtly give them that push that we're here for you too. So even though we technically see the women who are already out, we know that women are still watching us who are in that situation right now
and dreaming of getting out or looking for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the other thing too, though, is that the women who are already out, it's not over.
Mm-hmm.
No. And this is the thing, again, statistically, the returning rates are incredibly high, because the devil you know is better than the devil you don't so often. And so many times women get the courage to be able to leave and then feel like they can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing about abuse too is a lot of people don't understand that it's not just a punch somewhere, a bruise on your arm, a bruise somewhere. It is that financial sometimes too. And I know you guys are working to, it's a lot of things. There's a lot of different types of abuse out there. And often there's more than just one type when you're in an abusive situation. But I know Gems for Gems is actually working towards helping women. I don't think you really touched on this, so I'll just bring it up real quick. But being able to stand on their own 2 feet financially, which is massive, and providing solutions to women for getting college education afterwards, or a diploma or certificate to help them move forward. Can you quickly touch on that? Is that okay?
Of course. Oh yeah, I'd love to. So this is really a massive step in the ending the cycle of domestic abuse mission, because through educating women, that's giving women something that no one can take away. So even if they were to find themselves in an awful relationship again, they would still have the ability to leave, because they will never be in a situation where they can't financially take care of themselves. So to that, we've partnered with the Aesthetics Institute, which is incredible. It's an incredible school here in Calgary. We're always looking for more schools to be able to partner with too, but partnership is important to us for a couple reasons. One, we want to magnify the donor dollars, to respect donors, and so that donors know that we're doing the absolute best we possibly can with their contributions. But the other side of it too is that we want to partner with schools that recognize what we're doing and are on board with us. So to that, the Aesthetics Institute does full scholarship matching with us. They're also nationally certified. So say a woman is in hiding and goes to school, when she leaves, she has the same certification in every province across Canada. Amazing. So she doesn't have to go through a recertification process. The other thing that's nice with aesthetics is that they can do it from their own home. Whatever is most convenient is possible. We've also partnered with ABIS College, which is for medical assistants. Again, huge, and there's doctors' offices everywhere, and everywhere needs medical assistance. So we've decided on the schools that we have because we want the women to be highly employable, and both schools have over 90% success rate for placement and working, which is fantastic, and we feel very confident and excited about our scholarship program. So thank you for asking.
Yeah, no, I feel like that is something that's so incredible to be able to offer. And definitely when you said that there's a hole in the market, you were right on everything, but this is also part of it. There's, I don't think there's anything that really compares to what you're doing out there, supporting women in every aspect. And that is just, it's so massive and such an amazing thing.
Thank you. Super proud.
Yes, and you should be. And I think a lot of women are proud. I think all of your ambassadors are proud too. GEMS is top to bottom an example of what can happen when people unite. And that's what is just absolutely breathtaking to me literally every single day. Nothing that has been achieved through GEMS could be achieved by 1 or 10 people. It has taken every single person contributing to get us where we are. And I am absolutely awestruck by that literally daily. We asked you ahead of time what you're most passionate about and why. And so did you want to just quickly touch on that?
Sure. I know people would probably look at GEMS and say domestic abuse, that's what she's passionate about, or economic recovery, or whatever, all the aspects of GEMS. But that my biggest driving force is my kids, and I just look at this world as a parent, and I highly doubt there's even one parent out there that wouldn't agree that it is this scary freaking place to be raising kids in. And we came out here, we were completely alone. So none of our family was out here, which was a really big move for us, very isolating. And we had to literally start from scratch with friends, with everything, contacts. And I became aware that I had an opportunity to start building the network around my kids as beautifully as we possibly could, and as in alignment as we possibly could with how we wanted them to be raised. So the biggest thing for me is really being able to, I have a thing that whenever I die, whenever that is, I want to have lived, already have been able to live an example of what I want for my kids. I want to be able to have them remember or be told, your mom did this, your mom incorporated charity, your mom did whatever she possibly could to be able to make change. You know what I mean? All of the things that I really want for the kids, the biggest one being kind. I want to have exemplified everything I want for my kids. We never know how much time we have left, and I am fired up by that every single day, that I am trying to create something that can be an example for my kids, and create a world around them that I want them to live in.
Yeah,
I think both Elske and I can relate to that massively. I think that's what we're both doing ourselves too. So
definitely. My kids are also a driving force to everything that I do. I want them to see me and say, my mom can do this. I can do this too. I can shoot for the stars. She had a dream. She did it, I can do this too. You know, our kids definitely lead by our example. They follow our footsteps, and for us to give them that positive opportunities and experiences will make them into a better people as well.
I think that ultimately is the responsibility, calling, and purpose of parenthood.
Yeah.
You know, and my brand of doing that is how I treat them, how I treat my husband, and Gems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like to follow for raising my son. I said it before, I think, on other podcasts, but I really like to listen to Tony Robbins and how he conducts his life and how he trains, you know, entrepreneurs and people. I teach my son that stuff, and I think that's really important. And I think it's important for kids to learn so young, to respect themselves, to learn how to respond instead of react to life situations. Son only just turned 5, and he's more prone to walk away from a situation or respond versus react already so young. He's still 5, there's moments, but you know, I'm really passionate about raising kids in that type of light. And in a completely different world, I think you just said, like, you are creating the world that you want them to live in. And it is a scary world that we all live in. And so creating that little bubble, that little world, while, you know, teaching them that the world that we create for them isn't quite the world that everyone else lives in too. So it's a balance to get there.
Right. But they'll bring that love, that kindness, that everything, all the essence of what you've created around them, they'll bring them to that scary world. And if we have 1 million kids doing that, again, different world, right?
Yes,
actually different world. Our kids are 7 and 8, and so they've obviously been raised right in the center of Gems. So, and I mean, they're incredible, like absolutely incredible. I couldn't do what I do without how wonderful they are and how patient and all of that. But it really does raise, it creates different children, like mentally different thought patterns that go through their heads. For instance, my daughter, when she was 4, we were at a play place, and there was a very large boy. I don't know how old he was, but he was way bigger than Lil. And when she saw him picking on another little boy, and she went up to the big boy, and she just looked at him, and then looked at the little boy, and then looked back at the big boy and said, he looks really sad. And the big kid just looked at her and walked away. So without being aggressive, without anything, she just shifted the entire situation so gently, so calmly. And I see this type of stuff all the time. They just operate differently. Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what message do you want to tell the world? What do you want, any woman who's listening right now, what do you want to tell them? What do you want them to know?
That you deserve exactly what it is that would make your dreams come true. And the bottom line is that no matter what we all go through, the responsibility and choice does still fall on the individual. And it's a really uncomfortable reality to sit with often, especially when you've gone through horrendous treatment and the scars are there and sometimes really fresh. But the bottom line is that you can achieve exactly what it is that you want. It's all about believing in yourself and understanding that you don't have to be owned by what happened to you. You know, I was speaking with one of our ambassadors earlier today, and one of the reasons why we call what we like the sector domestic abuse is instead of domestic violence is because we want people who have experienced all forms of abuse to feel valued equally and to be seen equally and equally deserving of our support and of the sector's support. I think that by focusing on violence, there's so many women who are financially abused, emotionally abused, all the other forms of abuse that feel like they don't qualify because they're not being hospitalized.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's very saddening.
Yeah.
And I think that abuse needs to be looked at the same way as if someone was physically stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
If you're physically stabbed, everyone understands and accepts the reality that you have a mark, you have a scar on the surface of your skin, and then you have layers upon layers of scars according to the type of wound you received. But emotional abuse is exactly the same. You just can't see it. So you can have peace. You can be as healed as you're ever going to be, just like that physical scar.
Mm-hmm.
But it still gets triggered. If it's pushed, it still hurts. If something reminds you of it, it still hurts. And that is not a reflection on you not being capable of moving forward or you not being over him or over it. That's just a reality. And I think women need to give themselves a bit of a break. Survivors, period, men and women need to give themselves a bit of a break and understand that you don't need to be around the pain without feeling the triggers of it in order to prove to yourself and others that you've moved past it. I understand that your wounds will always be there. They'll always be triggerable. There'll always be some sort of, that's survival, right? Your body doesn't want you to put yourself back in that. So it's going to give you pain so that you don't repeat it. But I think that so many people feel that means that they haven't gone far enough. They haven't prepared themselves, or they're not worthy of living the life that they deserve, but they so very are. Mm-hmm. And I just want everyone to know that they can make a difference in their own life and they can have the life that they want. Just have to continue to believe.
Yeah, that's awesome. And make a difference into their kids' lives if they have kids.
Yes. Yeah, I think, most of the people who have left abusive situations, so many of them have said it was this one time and it was something with the kid.
Yeah.
That made them snap and leave.
Mm-hmm.
So our children are heartbeats.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's awesome. That's amazing. I love everything that you're doing and giving these women that push and that encouragement to create that life that they deserve, for sure. So what's on the books right now for GEMS? What do you guys have planned for the near future here? Especially with COVID going on.
COVID, right? So,
yeah.
COVID life, man, it is a different beast.
Yeah.
So essentially what we've done with GEMS, so obviously our ambassador program, everything that we've ever built has been, other than the scholarship program, has been for face-to-face communication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a little wrench got thrown in the plans for that. So we did have quite a few things cancel, also fundraising events and all of that. Everything is just, we're trying to deal with this new existence. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the beautiful thing about GEMS is that we are led by a board that is incredibly versatile, resilient, bright, and we believe in pivoting instead of stopping. Mm-hmm. So we have pivoted. One of the things that I'm super excited about is that we're going to be having what we had hoped was going to be an in-person celebrity event. But we're going to do it on Zoom October 1st. Details will be coming, but I am incredibly so excited about that. And the whole point of that event is to be able to do pretty much exactly what the point of this was being able to ignite the knowledge and the passion in everyone listening to understand that they have the capability to make a difference and be part of our movement, which is being the change that we want to see in the world. And each of the celebrities are coming at it from a slightly different angle, all of whom have experienced their own forms of abuse. And I'm so excited. It's going to be very uplifting and empowering. Super exciting. And then the other thing too is that we're working with a consultant and some students from the University of Calgary to be able to revamp our Thrive program so that we can have it more scalable, so that, for instance, we can bring it to Edmonton more often. And we can really address the things that the shelters are really needing right now. So we're working with the CEOs of our local shelters here, as well as, like I said, students at the university and a consultant to be able to make sure that we're addressing specifically exactly what is needed. And then we can scale it back up again. So we're taking this opportunity to do a lot of internal work so that we can launch new and improved and be able to increase our impact on the outside. But our scholarship applications are still open. We're actually going through a couple more applications right now. And yeah, just very focused on impact and maximizing and spreading the impact as well and as effectively as we can.
For sure. That's awesome. Well, you definitely have to give us all the details for those events so we can
definitely.
And yeah, I'm honestly looking forward to having you guys come into Edmonton more often so we can be part of it. And, you know, abuse happens anywhere. And, you know, we want to be able to help our community as well, too. So we're excited to bring you guys here and to build this amazing Gems for Gems here in Edmonton as well. And then Laura Lee, you're in BC.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see eventually more out here and help and grow that.
Definitely. And this is the thing, when we can establish a widely accepted program with shelters, now it's incredibly scalable, right? So one of our celebrity ambassadors is in LA and others in Vancouver and other ones in Toronto. They all want the same thing too, so that they can be a part of it. So we're just really wanting to dial in and make sure we've got our finger on the pulse of what the shelters really need. And then here's the thing, like what makes our events different is our ambassadors. Because there's lots of different events out there that have speakers and they're all wonderful. But what makes ours different is the ambassadors. They set the tone, they help host, they, you know, when we go into shelters, the ambassadors are constantly looking for ways to build camaraderie, and it can be something as simple as saying, I love your hair, oh, such a nice sweater, what a nice bracelet. And they're looking to be able to show the women who so often feel so low and so much less than everyone else. We work hard to be able to show them that we see them as equals. And that tone changes everything, and it creates a 180 right in front of our faces. And it's just incredible.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so, you guys will see.
Yeah, totally. No, I'm so excited. So where, if somebody wants some more information about Gems for Gems, either through scholarship for themselves who want to get out of the situation, or even just to become an ambassador, where would they go? What's the process on that?
Yeah, great question. So our ambassador program, we're looking for wonderful people who are engaged and who really want to be part of making a difference. There's a little description on our website, but the answer to all of those questions are on our website. So there's a scholarship application link there. There's our ambassador link. There's ways to be able to see some of our current ambassadors, but we're going to be getting the rest of the ambassadors up there soon too. And just more information, the founding story about the jewelry drive is there. Jewelry drop-off locations in Calgary is there. We also have a resource page too. It's titled, Are You in Trouble? And underneath it is resources per province. So that people who are in trouble can reach out and at least get a bit of a start. The other thing too is I really believe in knowledge being power, and we also have research and statistics there as well. There's a lot of people who feel that they have an arm's length from this cause, but the reality is that with 1 in 3 women being survivors, reported survivors, okay, so never mind the rest of the survivors that haven't said anything, which so many don't. 1 in 3 women are reported survivors of domestic abuse. So this is not an arm's length cause for anyone. It's just whether you know or not. So yeah, there's lots of statistics there. We have our social media. Our Facebook is really active as well, just Gems for Gems. We have our swag store. May I make a plug? Our swag store is our Be the Change clothing line, and we want to be able to empower people to wear our clothing line, be able to answer questions about Gems for Gems, and to be able to inspire other people to do exactly that, be the change that they want to see in their own worlds. And 100% of the proceeds from our swag line goes directly to Gems for Gems and supporting our scholarship program. So that's also wonderful. We work with local designers too. So yeah, it's all good.
Can I just say that your clothing line does work, because I wear my sweater all the time.
Love
and
it.
I've been asked in public, like in lineups with people behind me, what is this? And so then I get to speak about it, right? So it does work, and knowing that 100% goes to the scholarships is absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to quickly add, when you were talking about the 1 in 3 women, and the women that it's just the women that are reported, and then there's the women that don't report. I just want to add, like, a lot of people don't even know if they're going through abuse. Sometimes they don't even know that if they're being highly manipulated. So that's just something to remember too, is there's so much going on in the world, in people's lives, that we don't know about, and they may not even know that they're being
abused
in that abusive relationship,
mm-hmm.
or don't recognize it because they're not getting punched, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
again, too, why it's so important to refer to as domestic abuse, because then it's all inclusive, you know.
Yeah. So carry on what you were going to say. I just really thought that was important to throw out there.
Me?
Yeah, you were about to say something.
Yeah, no, I just think that that it's all about doing what you can, when you can, and how you can, and becoming an ambassador is a beautiful way to do that. Obviously, donating jewelry is a wonderful way. Financially supporting, purchasing any of our swag, like, it's all these ways are very meaningful contributions to us, and we accept and see all of them as highly significant and incredibly appreciated.
That's awesome. Well, again, I just want to say thank you so much for being on this podcast with us and sharing your story and how Gems for Gems started and what we're going to see with Gems for Gems. I am really, really, really excited, and I can see this going like huge, and I'm so excited to be a part of it too.
Thank you. I am absolutely honored that you ladies chose Gems to join, and I'm so grateful and excited.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being our guest today, and we will have all of your social media links and websites in the show notes when we upload this. So please watch for that, and please reach out to Jordan if you would like to be of any kind of help to the cause for Gems for Gems. If you'd like to be an ambassador or anything, please reach out directly to her through the links that we provide. And again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.